Hi there, this is H. Victoria Hoggrow Atkerson. I'm an author and a writer, and we are talking about what it takes to be a writer. And today we're going to kind of go to the next step because I assume that once you have identified yourself as a writer and you have made space in your life for your writing and your writing paraphernalia, that means all the reference books you need, all the pictures you need, your computer, your writing pads, pens, everything. You've done all of that. And then you sat down and you committed yourself to this wonderful novel. Let's say I'm a novelist, so I'll use a novel as a good example. So you've written a masterpiece, okay? That's full of wonderful adventures. So what do you do when the work is finished? Isn't it great to say the end? It's really cool. Now, one of the questions I got a while ago, which I want to reiterate on, someone asked me invariably everywhere I go, how do you know when you get to the end of the story? You don't. I think the writing itself kicks you out. The story will kick you out. You will not have anything else to write about this topic, believe me. So fear not. Because there's just so much you can write about one subject. And believe me, when you get to the end, you will know it. The story literally kicks you out of the door. So don't worry about the ending. Just worry about getting the job done. But let's say you've gotten to the end of your project and you're very excited about it. So what happens next? It's more fun for the writer. Much more fun. The next thing you want to do is to protect what you have written. Now, the simple way to do this is to send it in to the Copyright Office in Washington, D.C. Now, if you can't do that, you need to do a poor man's copyright, which is to put a manuscript in a envelope that's big enough to handle it. Even if it takes two of them, you need to do this. Put it in an envelope, address it to yourself, and make sure the return address says your name and your address. So you're going to mail it to yourself. Sometimes you go to the post office and then offer you your document, your manuscript. And if it's a experienced person at the desk, they'll stamp it and hand it right back to you. Some insist on it actually going through the mail, which would take a couple of weeks to get back to you. So what you need to do in that case, you always send it with so that you get a return receipt for it. So if in case it gets lost, you can claim it. Make sure when it gets back to you, you take that document, which is in this original envelope that you put it in. You're going to take that and put it in a safe place, preferably a locked box. That is your poor man's copyright. It'll stand up in any court. So if you cannot go online and register your manuscript, which is a $35 fee if you do it online. If you mail it into the Library of Congress Copyright Office, it's going to cost you $85. So it's much easier and cheaper to do it online. And you get it instantaneously, or you get it processed instantaneously, but you don't, and you get a receipt that you sent it in. But the original copyright will not be back for a few weeks, so it takes time. With all the security that's going on now, it takes a while. So just say that you protect your work. That's the first thing you do. The next thing you want to do is to make sure you get someone to do a cover if you cannot do it yourself. And that could be an artist who's skilled in watercolor or painting, whatever method you prefer. Or you can take a picture of a scene that you set up yourself. I've seen many people do that. Or you can go, if you're going through a publisher, they'll help you through this process. And really, after you finish your manuscript, they'll take over. They'll take care of everything. But even if you give it to your trusted agent. Hopefully you can find one. That's the best way to go. If you can find an agent in a publishing house, that is the way to go. So we'll talk about that in a minute, selecting an agent and a publisher. Okay, so once you've done that, you want to make sure you get the title for your book. As a matter of fact, do that before you mail it in. Name it something, it doesn't really matter, but because you can always change the title later. But send that in and make sure that the title's on there. And you want to start thinking about a cover. What type of cover do you want for this book that you've written? And once you decide that, you're going to make sure that you do what we call take care of your front matter. That means you're going to, the things that precede the story, anything from the cover back to chapter 1, we call that front matter. So it's usually a dedication page, an index if it's a nonfiction book, not index, a table of contents. And it could be, oh yeah, your copyright page. Now, your publisher will take care of all of that, so don't worry about most of this because it'll be taken care of. Then you have your title page. Your dedication, you do yourself and make sure that you make it brief. A lot of people dedicate it. I've done some extensive one because, you know, when I first started writing, I think I didn't know I had more than 1 or 2 books in me to write, but now I'm up to number 20. So we have a lot to do. So this is what we're going to do. You're going to take care of that front matter, and also you're going to bind that with the manuscript and keep a copy for yourself that you can work on. And then after your manuscript is in the middle, the story that you've written, you're going to take care of the back matter, which is the index, list of characters if you want to put the characters in the back of your book. And sometimes, like I do, I value names, and I collect names because I love unusual names. I love old names, especially because, you know, that history I think is really wonderful. And a lot of stories I do may be from Africa, or the characters originate in Africa. So I like to know what those names mean, whether they're American or African or whatever. I believe, as the Africans do, that names are a destination. So when you name your child, you're establishing a destination for that child. So check it out. Start your own name list even. I have mine. And then I have a lot of books that I've gathered on names. So you can do that, or you can just name them randomly. I mean, it's just my fetish, okay? So that's one of the other things. And then if you have any kind of information that would help them situate the book or the story where it needs to be, if it's like in a particular area in the country you want to highlight, say you're doing something on New Orleans, you may want to include an old map of New Orleans or a new map of New Orleans, whatever the city you are, you may want to do that. And pitch, you know, even old neighborhoods, you want to make sure you put everything where it should be on that map. Any illustrations that you have gathered, you want to use that as background. It helps the reader to help to visualize what you're doing. So you have the front matter, the cover, the front matter, the story, and then you have your back matter, and then you have the back page. Now, one of the other things you need to do is to write a brief biography that is going to appear on the back of the book. So start doing that. And then you want to make sure you do a long one, an intense one, because somebody's going to ask you for it. So it's the best time to do it is now, you know, before the book hits the market. So if someone calls up, we need a detailed biography of you, because readers want to know who you are. So you can just hand it over to them, and it's already done. You don't have to go back and do that over again. So do that. And that's about it. I think I went down my list pretty quickly with the prices and everything. So prices of the copyright. So enjoy this process. This is a fun part of it, getting it ready for the market. And if you have a good agent, they're going to help you through it. And if you don't have an agent, just read up on it. They have all kinds of manuals out here for writers. Go on. There are a lot of websites that will help you through it also. But if you go to the Copyright Office, they have all the detailed information you need to know about the copyright, why you need it, and what does it cover. They go through all of that for you. So even if you have an agent, you need to know these things. And then you may want to think about joining a union, a writers union, because they help you to protect your work, and they advocate for you. So enjoy this. It's really a great time, and it's a great time to celebrate. So be sure to, if you're into wines, which I love myself, I don't do it as much as I used to, but when I finish a book, I love to toast myself and say, "Yay, I did it." So if you have some champagne, if not, whatever you have. I think the last time I didn't have anything. I think I used a glass of juice and I gave my dog a bone or something, and that was our celebration. Nobody was up but the two of us, so we celebrated the completion of my book. I was like, "Yay, it's done!" So, and the dog looks at me like, "What are you doing?" But she was happy to get her dog bone to help me celebrate me finishing my book. So anyway, it's a great process, you guys. Now, before you go, be sure to hit my button to say that you are enjoying the program, and then subscribe to my channel, okay? And join my little YouTube family here. And if you get a moment, go take a look at this wonderful book. And that's my latest. That's Enslaved. I just love this picture on there. Cute cover, isn't it? I thank my brother for that, Louis Hargrove. He's a terrific artist. And to you, I wish you many, 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 many lovers, and that includes children. I'm going to say lovers. Okay, I am a romanticist, so I get kind of carried away. But love to you, and make sure you love someone special. Okay, take care.